Continuing Egyptian Heaven and Hell by E.A. Wallis Budge. Volume 2, the short form of the book Tuat and the Book of Gates. Chapter 13, The Gate of Amnetuf-The, the 11th division of the Tuat out of 12. Having passed through the 10th division of the Tuat, the boat of the sun arrives at the gateway XIII Basu. Okay, so XIII Basu, which leads to the 11th division, or as the opening text reads, "This entity cometh forth to this gate, this great entity entereth through it, and the entities who are therein acclaim and the entities who are therein acclaim this great entity." The gateway is like that through which the entity passed through in the previous division. At the entrance to the gate proper stands a bearded mummy form called Modus, and at its exit stands a similar form called XIII. The corridor is swept by flames of fire which proceed from the mouths of two Oriah, the serpent from the forehead thing, as before. In the space which is usually guarded by a number of entities stands two scepters, each of which is surmounted by a white crown. The one on the right is the symbol of Sar, Osiris, and the one on the one on the left of Haru, Horus. Between the scepters is a line of text which reads, "They say to Ra, in peace, in peace, in peace, in peace, in peace. O thou whose transformations are manifold, thy soul is in heaven, thy body is in the earth. It is thine own command, O great one." Remember, just like what I said about the opening the eye, or opening repetitions of 4 rather than 3 seem to be more common with the ancient Egyptians. The monster serpent which stands on its tail and guards the door is called Amnetuf. And the two lines of text which refer to the emission of Ra read, "He who is over this door openeth to Ra." Sau saith to Amnetuf, "Open thy gate to Ra, and fold thy portal to Kutte. So that he may illuminate the thick darkness and may send light into the hidden abode. This gate closeth after this great entity hath passed through it, and the entities who run the battlements wail when they hear it closing upon them." And the gate of the serpents, okay, let me make sure I got this right. Because YMNT. Okay, so notice what's different. The knife is being held as in a previous one, but not quite as before. But consider what the characters say and what it implies. And in the middle of the division, we see the boat of the sun being towed along its way by 4 entities of the Tuat. The entity is in the same form as before, and his boat is being pulled along by Thaw, who commands, and by Heka, who's, Heka is one of the elements of magic personified, who steers according to his directions. And we see the boat of Yith-Ra in the 11th division. Okay, there's Hek and the successor of Yamant. Yeah, so the procession in front of the boat of the sun consists of one, accompanied 9 entities, each holding a huge knife and a scepter, like a shepherd's crook, not the Ust. In its left, the first 4 have jackal heads, and the last 5 heads of bearded men. These 9 represent a company of entities who slay Apes. So we have Ni Kut Wur Pep. The serpent, fettered by 5 chains, entered the ground. The fetters are further strengthened by small chains, which are linked into the larger ones, who are fastened to the ground by means of pegs and a hook at the top of that letter that's not crooked, but it's a shepherd's crook nonetheless. An earlier picture we have seen Apep fettered by Thab, Mest, Hape, Amnetuf, and XIII, who were represented by 5 entities, but here the figures of the entities are wanting, and it is only the legend of the children of Horus that tell us the chains representing the entities. 4 apes, Amau, each holding up a hand and a wrist. And the slaughterers of Apep. Four, the demoness of Upper Egypt wearing a white crown and styled Yamante. 5, the demon of Lower Egypt and wearing the red crown called Huruyit. 6, the bearded entity called Sabuxte, who holds the emblem of life in his right hand and the scepter in his left, and the text that refers to the above entities reads, and of the entities of the Tuat who tow the bow of Ra along, it is said, the entities of the Tuat say, behold the coming forth from Yamut, and his taking up place in the 2 divisions of Nu, and his performance of transformations in the 2 hands of Nu. This entity doth not enter into the height of heaven. He openeth the Tuat into the height of heaven by his transformations which are in Nu. Now what openeth the Tuat unto Nu are the 2 hands of Yimruneth, he whose name is hidden. He existeth in the thick darkness, and the light appeareth from the starry night. Of the 9 entities with knives and scepters, it is said, those who are in this scene with their weapons in their hand take their knives and hack at Apep, and they make gashes in him and slaughter him, and they strive stakes whereby to fetter him in the regions which are in the upper height. The fetters of the rebel are in the hands of the children of Horus, who stand threateningly by this entity with their chains between their fingers. This entity reckoneth up his members after he whose arms are hidden hath opened to make a way for Ra. Of the serpent, it is said, the children of Horus grasp firmly this serpent which is in this pitcher, and in this pitcher they rest and noot. They heap up their fetters upon him, and whilst his folds are in the sky, his poison drops down from him into Yementet. Of the 4 apes, holding hands, it is said, it is those who are in this pitcher who make ready for Ra away into the eastern horizon of the heaven, and they lead the way for the entity who hath created them with their hands, 2 on the right hand and 2 on the left, in the double ythert of this entity, and they come forth after him, and sing praises to his soul when it looketh upon them, and they establish his disk. Of the 3 remaining entities, it is said, those who are in this pitcher turn away set from this gate of the entity Tuat. They open its cavern and establish the hidden pylons, and their souls remain in the following of Ra. Okay, in the upper division we have 4 entities, each holding a disc in his right hand. These are they who hold the life-giving disc. Okay. So sort of like a word for angels, and they're getting better at tying up here. And 2, we have 4 entities, each holding a star in his right hand. These are they who hold the stars. Kru, Sabai, Kru, Dway. 4 entities, each holding a scepter, the Ust. In his left hand. These are they who come forth. Poriu. 4 ram-headed entities, each holding a scepter in his left hand, and their names are Ba, Nemu, Punder, and Dund. 4 hawk-headed entities, each holding a scepter in his left hand. These are called Haru, Ash, Matrij, Sapad, Yim, Yum, Uyaf, and 8 female figures, each standing on a seat formed by Arias, the serpent thing, with its body coiled up. Well, they're not always proceeding from the center of the forehead, but you know what I mean. Each seated, formed by Arias, with its body coiled up and holding a star in her left hand. Holding a star in her left hand, these are called the protecting hours. Tuat, XIII, Nutet, and a crocodile-headed entity called Sebek-Ra, who grasps the fold of her serpent that stands on its tail and a scepter in its left, and the text that refers to these is called, Sebek-Te. We have Hruitper, Yamante and Yaanu Sa. And so we have the apes and whatnot. Let's see that. What does that mean to you, other than what it says? And as I said, the text. Oh. And I guess we should see the entities who bring the disk and stars for Ra. Gur, Sa, Xu, Ku, Kr, Sa, Dwa, Pr, Ra. Okay. So let's see that again there. And of the 4 entities bearing the disc, we have those who are in this picture carry the disc of Ra, and it is they who make a way through the Tuat and the height of heaven by means of the image which is in their hands. They utter words to the pylon of Yurkert, so that Ra may set himself in the boat of Nut, of the sky. And the 4 entities bearing the stars, and the entities who prepare the offering in the shrine of Ra. Uf. Mapa. Dund. Punder. Okay. So we've gone over that list before. So what does that mean? What does it imply? Those who in this picture carry stars, and when the 2 arms of Nu embrace Ra and their stars, about hymns of praise, and they journey on with him into the height of heaven, and they take up their places in the body of Nut. Of the 4 entities bearing scepters, it is said, those who are in this picture, their scepters in their hands, are they who establish the domains of this entity in the sky, and they have their thrones in accordance with the command of Ra. Of the 4 ram-headed entities, it is said, those who are in this picture, having their scepters in their hands, are they who decree of the offerings of the entities, the bread of heaven, and it is they who make to come forth the celestial water, when as yet Ra have not emerged in Nu. And remember, the spirits can sometimes offer sensual experiences to people. The 4 hawk-headed, by spirits I mean the jinn, the 4 hawk-headed entities, it is said, those who are in this picture, their scepters in their hands, are they who establish the shrine, and they lay their hands on the body of the double boat, the entity, after it hath appeared from out of the gate of Sma, and the palace of the paddles in Nut, when the hour presideth over it, cometh into being, and the hour goeth to rest, of the demonesses who are seated on the Ura, it is said, those who are in this picture, with their serpents under them, and their hands holding stars, come forth from the 2 Yttert of this great entity, 4 to the east and 4 to the west. It is they who call the spirits of the east, and they sing hymns to this entity, and they praise him after their appearances, and Sadte comes forth in his forms. It is they who guide and transport those who are in the boat of this great entity. And there's no description of the crocodile-headed Sepigra in this text. And the East, spirits of the East, under what? Baal Sebub, maybe? Amamon, whatever mythology one is considering. In the lower register, we have 4 entities, each wearing the crown of the South. These entities are kings of the South in chief. Satchanu Tepe. The 4 bearded entities, the weepers, Yikbiu, U means it's weepers, not, it would be weeper if it was just eh. 4 entities wearing a crown at the north. Kn Ma'u. The 4 bearded entities called the Runan Iu. Those who give names. 4 females, each wearing the crown of the south. These are queens of the south. Sutton. Okay. And we see the entities of the Yut Rutte and notice how, but we have one not seated on the snake throne. We have yet to pass through the 9th gate, don't we? We have 4 females wearing the crown of the north. These are presumably the queens of the north. Knut. Four females without crowns. 4 bearded entities with their backs slightly bowed. These are the entities who praise Ra. A cat-headed entity called Nyeti. Chiete. More like it. A text which refers to these entities reads, and okay, there is a variation where we see Sar, which is related to Osiris, but where's the variation that we're let me flip the page and see. No, I am not seeing where Budge is saying that there's a variation of the text. But Champollion Monuments, Tom 2, page 539, and Pana is in brackets. But by the number and on the second page we have Sanu, but that's after the dot. But in brackets we have Sar. Sar. We have Pana, P-N-A-E-A. If I didn't pronounce it right. And the establisher of the white crown, and the 4 weepers. Yeah, okay. What does that say, and what does it imply? Okay, the 4 entities wearing the white crown have said, those are in this picture are they who establish the white crown on the entities who follow Ra. They themselves remain in the Tuat, but their souls go forward and stand at this gate. Of the 4 weepers, it is said, those who are in this picture, in this gate, make lamentation for Yasir after Ra hath made his appearance from Yemet. Their souls go forward in his train, but they themselves follow after Yasir, Cyrus. And of the 4 entities wearing the red crown, it is said, but see, those who give the name and the establishers of the red crown, and the other crown, we saw the white crown. Those who are in this picture are those who unite themselves to Ra. They make his births to come to pass on the earth. Their souls go forward in his train, but their bodies remain in their places. Of the 4 renew. It is said, those who are in this picture are they who give the name to Ra, and they magnify the names of all his forms. Their souls go forward in the following, but their bodies remain in their places, or seats. And the 4 demonesses wearing the white crown, it is said, but then we're going to have entities who establish the red and white crowns. What does that imply? Those who are in this picture are they who make Ma'at, truth, to advance, and who make it to be established in the shrine of Ra. When Ra taketh up his position in Nut, their souls pass onwards in his following, but their bodies remain in their places. And we're finding this in the tomb of Ramses V. And of the 4 entities wearing the red crown, it is said, those who are in this picture are they who establish time, and they make to come into being the years for those who keep war over the condemned ones in the Tuat, and over those who have their life in heaven. They follow in the train of this great entity, and the entities who drive away Set, the entities who adore and praise Ra, and we have Chiete. That doesn't. Did I say the ones that have the I don't remember if I said the portion before that part of the text, but think about what that means for a second. And I'm going to go back and say, those are in this picture, those who establish time, they make to come into being the years for those who keep ward over the condemned ones in the Tuat, and those who have their life in heaven, they follow the train of this great entity. Okay, I did say that about the 4 demons wearing the red crowns. Of the 4 females who are without crowns, it is said, those who are in this picture, in this gate, make lamentations and tear their hair in the presence of this great entity in the Yemen, that they make Set to withdraw from this pylon, and they do not enter into the height of heaven. Of the 4 entities with their backs bowed, it is said, those who are in this picture make adoration to Ra, and sing praises unto him in their palace. In the Tuat they hymn, those entities who are in the Tuat, and who keep guard over the hidden door. They remain in their places. The warder of this door, the circle remaineth in his place. And those lines are from the tomb of Ramses VI. And we have the dinner. Oh, the Tuat is district. Oh, Desert Industries. No, that's something else. District Ba Eu. And that's going to be a shorter one, and that's going to be the end of our hero journey. Shalom, peace be upon you.